What's going on, nerds? Welcome back to Comic Book Nerd Nation, episode number 95. I'm Fox2. We got Pirate
Hello, everyone.
and Topher.
But not for long, because I'm leaving in a few minutes to go to the Cincinnati Comic Expo.
Yep, you're the only one that's going this year.
Yeah, you guys are lazy slackers.
Yeah, I got work to do, like actual job work. I have to work from home today, so
That sucks.
yeah, that's going to be kind of shitty, but it happens. Part of being an
And
adult,
Brian.
I guess. I'm getting my adult on today.
Yeah, and Brian's not going because he lives nowhere near Cincinnati.
Yes, you'll have that. Well, let's talk about that since you're only going to be here for a couple minutes. Rather than talking about what we've been reading, first we'll talk about or lack of reading, because that's I'm sure what you're about to say. What are you looking forward to at the comic convention this year?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. Like different conventions always seem to play out differently. You know, some of them have like really interesting guests. Some of them have like really cool artists. Some of them have like, you know, a particular person there to see. I just like being at conventions. I don't know that there's anything necessarily that I'm like super going for. I mean, they've got some media guests. I think the Red Power Ranger is going to be there, and one of the dwarves from The Hobbit, and there was somebody that actually sounded interesting.
Daryl Banks is going to be there.
Yeah, but I was talking more about like the yes, he will be there, as will Neil Adams, as will Koi Pham, and
Burt
several
Ward.
other you know,
Burt Ward's
high
going to be there
profile.
this year?
Adam West and
Yeah,
Burt
Adam
Ward.
West and Burt Ward are going to be there. That was one of the ones
Damn, that's a big one.
I was actually excited about. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of these conventions turn into like, you know, like, oh, you've got this guest and this guest, and you know, like it's like, oh, hey, it's that person from that show that I've seen before. That's kind of cool. But do I want to stand in line for like 2 hours to get their autograph on
Probably
something
not.
and pay them $50 to sign it? Like, not so much. You know, like I think at this point I've met like all the Power Rangers. You know, like I've seen them all at some point.
You should ask
You know,
them
so,
what
like-
they feel, how they feel about Apocalypse looking like the guy from their movie. Just had
Yeah.
to throw that in there. Just I like going to the conventions. For me, the conventions it's more interesting. It's kind of fun to go through the long boxes and stuff, because sometimes you can make some really good finds. Sometimes you can get really ripped off though if you're not careful. But I think for me the best part of the experience is meeting the artists. I enjoy like talking to them and the opportunity to kind of, especially if they're doing sketches and stuff like that. Like last year I got the George Perez sketch that's over my shoulder there. You can kind of see it. Thanos. I thought, to me, that was probably, of all of my memories from comic book conventions, that was one of the coolest ones. We got there early, got right in the line, so we only had to wait for maybe 30 minutes or so, which is really good because by the time he drew my sketch, they had cut off his line for the entire day. So it was pretty much, you know, if you didn't go straight to his booth, you weren't going to get one. And it wasn't that pricey either. It was only like $30. Autographed, and he took I got a couple pictures with him and stuff. Really nice guy. So
Yeah.
I think the sketch stuff is pretty cool. Like the best memory I have of seeing anybody doing a sketch work was Alan Bellman.
down at the Lexington.
Dude, he was just was throwing down on this Captain
Smashing
America
it.
like
Captain
nothing.
America.
Like I was just like, wow, dude,
And the
that's
way
impressive.
that he drew it too was really interesting too. It was, you know, you would kind of assume that a person would kind of draw like maybe the outline first and then start adding the details, or draw from one side of the sheet to the other and kind
He
of
was like blowing it out from the middle. Like,
yeah, he was just like picking spots. Like he'd do a little bit on the helmet, then he'd do a little bit on the shield, then he'd go over here and do a little bit of the eyeball, and then he's down here working on the fist a little bit. And there's no outline. So it's just like these little spots all over the page, and you just like slowly watch this thing kind of coming together in the middle, like he said, and it was fucking crazy because it was just like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck? Oh my god, that's Captain America.
Yeah, it was weird. And this dude's like, 80, 90 years old, man.
Yeah,
and just killing it. Like, whoa, there it is. Holy shit.
And he was super friendly and talkative.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have zero artistic talent. I have zero artistic talent whatsoever. So like watching people draw is always really cool for me because I'm just like, how do you do that? Like it's like a foreign concept. Like I don't get it. Like I can do a stick figure and that's about it, And so like watching somebody work, like and like trying to analyze the process and like look at it from like a technical point of view and like okay, so you do that and then I try and do it and nope.
Not
how do you do that? So yeah, it's I end up more than anything when I go to these things, like I tend to buy artwork. Like I'll like, see like, oh, that is just so cool looking. It's what impresses me the most because it's what I'm the least good at, like I have no talent there. So watching other people do it, like just amazes me. I'm like, I want that because there's no way I could ever do it.
Be very careful if you go to Neal Adams' booth, if you're interested in purchasing a piece of his art, because he will indefinitely be able to talk you into buying at least a second piece of art.
No,
I ended up buying 3 from him last year.
I love Neal Adams stuff, but he's been to this convention several times.
Yes, like his 4th year in a row, I think.
Yeah, I have visited his booth a number of times and have spent quite a bit of money there. So I think I'm probably good. I might just avoid it so that I'm not.
He's got the biggest booth too of all the art.
It's massive. It's like 3 times the size of everybody else's.
It's like it's impossible to avoid because you're like all of a sudden you like round a corner and you're like dick deep in Neal Adams artwork. You're like, holy fuck!
How do I get out of here? How do I get out of here? This is not where I parked my car.
This is the Neal Adams labyrinth. Like,
it's like it gets to the point where like you're walking by and you're almost like doing this, trying to avoid eye contact with him because he somehow just like fucking sucks you in and like just pulls the money right out of your pocket. Just somehow just talks to you to the point where you're like, I really did want to give you like $60 today. I didn't realize it, but I really did. I woke up and the first thing I thought was, you know what? I better take out some extra money to put it into Neal Adams' bank account today.
You know what though? Realistically, I think the only thing that I ever spend money on at comic book conventions anymore is art because I think comic books, like if you're looking for a specific one, they're always more expensive at a convention center.
Oh yeah, wall books are really expensive.
Yeah, like long boxes. If you're looking for those fill numbers, you can usually find those. You got to dig for them, and get good prices on those because those are usually books that people just want to get off their shelves at their stores.
I think I walked away last year. Last year, I think I walked out with a long box full of like dollar bin X-Men issues that I was missing from like the late 80s and early 90s, that like they're not worth anything anymore, but they were all still in really good shape. And I'm like, I don't have a bunch of these, like let me fill in the rest, and then there was like the one issue that I was looking for, like a key issue that was like, oh, how much is that one? Wait, $300?
I'm good.
Never mind.
Thanks.
So it's like, it depends. But then, at Derby City Comic Con a few months ago, I ended up getting a couple issues that I was, really looking for, like the first appearance of X-23.
Nice.
That like it was like, oh, I've been looking for that one. That might be a little bit. Oh, and I got the first appearance of Apocalypse, and I'm like, that might be a little bit more than I wanted to pay for, but it's really not a bad price. And like, I stood there talking to the guy long enough that by the end, like, he ended up giving me like a package deal, and
just to get you to
came
go
down.
away.
He wanted to move it, and like, to get me to go away, probably to make me stop talking. He's like, oh my God, I don't want to hear one more story about the X-Men. Like, I know that I'm working a comic booth, but if you keep talking about so, but no, it ended up being really cool. Like, I ended up buying it, and it probably actually was cheaper than what I would have ended up, looking around for it online, or buying it off of eBay or something. And I got to buy it from somebody's like, local shop. So that was pretty cool. So I like just talking. I like going around and talking to the people, that are actually like, doing stuff. And there are some like merchandisers, selling like just pop figurines everywhere, and those are cool too. You know, but like actually talking to people that run comic book stores or the actual artists about things, like it's cool to just talk to people that are there. So yeah, like the people, like the artists, like Mike Zeck is going to be there. The guy, he drew the original Secret Wars for Marvel. He's the guy who first drew Spider-Man's Venom costume, like the black costume. That was him.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
And then, but then, like some of the other TV film stars, like Ian Ziering's going to be there, so I can get in line to get all my Sharknado stuff signed.
I remember.
Or Beverly Hills 90210.
I remember. I think it was the Lexington Comic-Con when we met Tim Seeley.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that was where that was at. I just found out, and I really need to email him. He was interested in being on the show, but our schedules just didn't quite line up last year. So maybe this year we can get him on the show. But I just found out recently. Did you know that at least one of the bottles of Three Floyds beer, he did the artwork for
Really?
Zombie Dust is one of their like most popular beers. Tim Seeley did the artwork for the label for that, and it's fucking badass. Like the label on the thing is fucking sweet. I was actually just like trying to find some in a store locally because they're starting to like push production into Ohio and stuff, and I looked up on their website and sure enough they gave him credit and everything for the label right there. I just thought that was a neat little tidbit of information, if you will.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Didn't know that.
While you're at the convention today, Topher, if you get a chance, you should take a couple pictures and throw them up on our Facebook page so that they're out there, and when this airs, people will have a chance to go back and look at them. Or hear
between the convention and Oktoberfest, if I can get a signal, I will do that.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, are you gonna stop to October? Those that don't know, that aren't from the southern Ohio area, or really anywhere in Ohio, the Oktoberfest that happens in Cincinnati, down in downtown Cincinnati, is the second largest Oktoberfest in the world. They project 500,000 attendees every year, which is just an asshole amount of people. It's super fun. I was thinking about trying to go down tomorrow maybe, but I don't. It's just such a hassle, like finding parking, and then it's everything is a line. Everything. It's like 7 blocks of nothing but lines.
The whole thing is a line. Like they closed down 5th Street, and
it's like 6 blocks long too, isn't it? It's
like by the time it's pretty long. Like by the time you get to I don't know, about 9 o'clock or so, like when everybody's there, like it's like shoulder to shoulder people. Like it's hard.
It's not even worth going in the evening.
You have to get your beer and then like basically go back to the end of the line because you'll be done with it by the time you get to the front of the line again.
Yeah.
But it's fun,
My favorite part are the food vendors. The food vendors are amazing. There's
normally
really
some pretty good food there. Yeah.
Local restaurants, and then just like German food vendors that have the Pirate's favorite part's putting the Wiener Schnitzel in his mouth.
I'm more of a fan of sauerkraut balls.
So balls and Wiener Schnitzel.
Balls and wieners are amazing.
So yeah, this weekend's pretty cool here because you get to go to the Comic Expo all day, and come out and go get a beer at Oktoberfest.
Now was it last year was the first year they did it at the same time as Oktoberfest? Because I don't remember going to the conventions before and it not being the same.
I think so. I know it was last year for sure because we went. My fiance and I, we went to the convention first, and then we went really early. Like we were there like before they opened the doors, and got everything done really early. And we ran into Topher and his girlfriend on our way out, and then we were going over to Oktoberfest, and we did that for a couple hours, and then headed home. But it makes for a long fucking day. Both of those things back to back. That's a lot of walking.
Yeah, I'm going to a little nerdy convention tomorrow. It's the Renaissance Fair.
Ooh,
nice.
Pirate Weekend is, as a matter of fact.
Oh shit!
They have a weekend dedicated to me.
We need pictures.
That's
we
funny.
need pictures for the Facebook page of Pirate Weekend for the Renaissance Festival. I've actually never been to the Renaissance Festival.
Oh my god, dude! It's so fun.
I know. I've had boatloads of friends that used to, like when I was in high school, used to work at it and stuff, and they would go all the time, and I just, for whatever reason, never went. I think part of it was too. I wrestled in high school, so
wrestling season kind of starts with that.
It was like kind of right at the beginning of wrestling season, so I was always busy on the weekends going to the tournaments and stuff.
Well,
but it lasts a while, doesn't it?
It goes until November. So I mean, I don't think it really starts because it starts around football season, so it would have never bled in. I mean, towards the end.
Oh, okay.
It starts in like late August or something, or maybe Labor Day weekend, and then it normally runs until around early to mid-November. It's kind of like when it starts getting cold out. So like, it runs like a good. It normally runs like a good 10 weeks or so.
I'm gonna have to try and find a weekend and go up there this year.
Go up there tomorrow with us.
I don't know. I'll have to see what's going on. I'll have to get with you on that. I don't know. It's one of those things that, like, I've never been opposed to it. I've always kind of wanted to go, but I've just never, like,
I think we got extra tickets.
I tried to go with you last year, and everybody punked out, and you didn't go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah, that's right.
Speaking about going to things like that, here in a few months, I think we're going to be going out to Disneyland in California.
I've never been to the one in California, but the one in Florida is like ridiculous now.
Wait and do it until the Star Wars section's open.
That's
Disney World.
Disney World.
I thought they were doing it in both. Aren't they or not?
I don't know. Maybe they are. I don't know. But I think we're gonna be going in December. I think we're gonna try and go out there and visit my fiance's family and do Disneyland, which is cool. I've been to Disney World like you have, Pirate, and it's been forever ago that I went, but even then it was awesome. Now I'm pretty excited. Check it out. Although the one thing that I really would like to visit is in Florida is the Harry Potter world that's down there.
That one's awesome.
I've heard nothing but incredible reviews, other than the fact that it's just like super packed.
You know what though? Like the Disney theme parks is cool and all, but I remember last time I went to well, no, not the last time I went to Disney World. It was a couple times before. One time we went to Disney World and Universal Studios.
Universal Studios is sick.
Universal Studios, I remember being so much more fun.
Oh my god, it's so awesome! The shit that the movie themed rides and the
Back to the Future ride was awesome. I didn't ride the ET one. The Terminator one wasn't there.
Oh, see, that's how long ago it's been since I was there.
Quake was there. Well, no, the Terminator ride came after.
Oh, really?
I went there. Yeah, because I think they turned the Earthquake ride into the Terminator ride, I think. The Jaws ride was cool, but the thing I hated, it was like, like almost a 3-hour line for a 3-minute ride.
Yes. Everything
it was like,
long.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Anyway, I am going to get going.
All right, man. Well, thanks for popping in and talking to us for a little bit about the convention. Make sure you post a couple pictures up on the Facebook so that the people that are not listening to this live can go back and look at the old photos that you're going to post today.
By the time you hear this, might have already seen the photos. Weird. Before I go though, I feel like Brian would want me to mention that he kicked your ass in fantasy football this week.
He did. That's all right because you lost too.
I did, but I lost, but I had like twice as many points as you did. It sucks because
Peyton Manning had no fucking fingers. I don't know what his deal was.
I don't know what your deal was drafting Peyton Manning in the first round and thinking that he was going to be like a young Peyton Manning this year.
Scored awesome this week.
Yeah, he did all right because of like the last 30 seconds
right
of the
back
game.
right back to his former self.
You know what?
It was just funny because Fox started this league and then he talked so much shit because he had Brian as an opponent the first week, and then Brian like kicked his
Peyton
ass.
Manning choked.
And then
the thing is, I would have won if I would have played different players. I would have beat him like by a lot. I left 40 points on the bench.
I would have won too if I had drafted a different team and played different players. Yeah.
Bye.
It was just funny because you had the lowest score in the league.
I know. I got the bronze plunger for week 1.
I had I was like top 3, but I played the guy with the highest score, so I still lost.
Look at
which really sucks.
Hail Peyton.
Hail Peyton. I love that.
On the back.
6 plus 6 plus 6, 18. Manning.
That's good.
That's funny. What's it say down at the bottom?
Brought to you by Speedwolf.
Oh, okay.
It's a band from Denver.
That's funny.
All right. Well,
have fun at the convention, and we'll talk to you later.
Peace.
See ya.
So, let's. I want to talk about. I just discovered this last night, and it has consumed my time since then. But PlayStation Now is fucking incredible. I never thought that I would. I never thought that I would buy into like video game rental type of services like GameFly and stuff like that. I never did any of that stuff. But they have right now, I don't know how long it's going to last, but they have a free 7-day trial for this PlayStation Now, which is an online streaming video game service. So you have to have a pretty good high-speed internet connection in order for it to work. And they test your connection prior to allowing you to sign in.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, which is nice because then you don't have, people with shitty connections pulling down, just fucking the server up. So essentially you go in, you sign into it, and there's just a library of video games. And now initially, and this is Pirate's initial reaction as well as mine at first, was, I bet the games are turds. Like, I don't want to play 37 different versions of fucking Tetris, Angry Birds, and fucking Tic-Tac-Toe.
Right.
Wrong. There are really, really good video games on this thing. I mean, we're talking all the Assassin's Creeds, all the Uncharted's, all the Far Cry's, Grid 2, Walking Dead, the Telltale games, the story one is on there. The Last of Us with the expansion on it. I mean, there's just a ton of like blockbuster video game titles. Not all of them, but I would say at least 70 really big named video game titles. Plus, there's some old stuff that they've converted over, like some Sonic the Hedgehog stuff, and I mean, just so many different things. I couldn't even come close to listing them all.
Now, are you able to earn trophies and add to your scorecard?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the cool thing is like, my biggest thing about buying video games is I'm always nervous about whether if I'm going to purchase a $60, $70 video game, I'm going to want it to be something that I can continuously play over. I want the replay value to be high.
Right.
I either want the game itself to take me a long time to finish, like a Skyrim. Like once I beat Skyrim, I never played it again. In fact, I think you still have it. I think I loaded it to you. And
I got it back to you.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure.
Well, regardless, I don't ever play it, but it took a long time to finish it, so I got a lot out of the game. What I don't like is when I buy a game and I can finish it really quickly and there's still no replay value. If games like Call of Duty is a good example for me. The story mode doesn't take hardly any time at all to finish, but the replay value is on the online side of things. So you can kind of get your money out of it that way. But this is really nice because you can try all these other games that you might not have ever given a shot. You wouldn't pay $60. Like Grid 2 is what I'm playing. I've been playing here just this morning, actually. But I wouldn't pay $60, $70 to buy that game. I'm having a bunch of fun playing it. But that game's no longer $60, $70. That game's been out a while.
Well,
right. I mean, I don't know. I mean, but even so, probably still $30, $40.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I agree with that. My whole thing is like, if most of the games that I spend $60, $70 on are games that I pre-ordered. So they're ones that I'm already excited to get, and rarely, since I don't buy that many games anymore, rarely do I get disappointed. Like, oh, fuck, I wasted 60, 70 bucks on this piece of shit. But, I mean...
Call of Duty Advanced Warfare.
Never even played it.
Call of Duty Ghosts.
Yeah, Ghost was
I
bad.
Hated both of those games so much.
I don't know. I lost a lot of I didn't like Black Ops 2.
Oh, I loved it. So that's my favorite one.
I don't know. Like, my favorite one was Modern Warfare 3.
Okay. All right.
But, you know, it's like the games seem to me have just went downhill. I don't know. Maybe they haven't. Maybe some people argue that they've gotten better because they've added more features. And they did, but it almost seems like now...
It's different. It's a different game for sure.
Yeah, it feels like I can play Destiny, and it's a different game, a different feel. And, you know, I don't know. It all seems like they're coming back to that Halo effect. You know what I mean? Like superhuman or like super environment, like type game set, which is fine. But it's funny because all the people who started playing Call of Duty played it because they wanted to get away from that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'll never forget on Modern Warfare, everybody was so excited because, like, motherfuckers aren't jumping around. But it was funny seeing people come from Halo to Modern Warfare because you'd start shooting them and they'd start trying to jump away from you. You know what I mean? And they're only, like, going, like,
just a little bit. Little
bit. Like, they think they're going to fucking float away and shit, like in Halo. But I don't know. It's just video games they're kind of like doing that 180 shit. But
yeah,
it's fine. You know, that's what it is. If that's what people are buying, obviously that's what is making the companies money to keep producing these games. But
it's really interesting. You should definitely, especially right now with, I don't know how long the 7-day free trial is going to last. It's $20 a month, so it's a little on the expensive side. But if you're somebody that plays a lot of video games and wants to try a lot of different video games, this could be a good solution. Or if you have multiple people using the same PlayStation, you know, if you got kids or brothers and sisters or whatever, rather than having to go out and buy 6 different video games for 4 different people, you can pay $20 a month and have over 100 video games. That's a pretty good. That's a pretty good option, I feel like. To figure out what you like, and even if you try it for 7 days and go and try a boatload of different games, you can get it narrowed down to the list of games that you would like to try and find used and buy. Which is
plus it's nice for people doing, like, you know, that just go out and buy the core gaming system and aren't really sure what games they want. Like,
you
know, instead of buying, like, you know, you might get a free game. Hell, I know when I bought my PS4, I got the Batman bundle, and it came with Batman, which I knew was going to be good. But I also bought Destiny because everybody, you know, hyped that game up a lot, and it's a pretty fun game. And I bought Far Cry 4 because, you know, you recommended it to me, said it was pretty good.
Yeah, that game's pretty fun.
You know, for $40 worth of extra games, I could have just signed up for that, and in 2 months played countless games. You know what I mean?
50, 60 games.
Yeah, which Far Cry was one of them. You know?
Exactly. And that's, I just think it's the next evolution of the video game industry. I think that this is pushing the boundaries of what we know of as the rental model, so to speak, because, you know, like, your first concerns were, okay, well, that's cool, but can you save your progress? Yes, you can save your progress. Yes, you do still get the achievement trophies and stuff for the people that are into that kind of thing. So it takes care of all those, like, well, I don't want to just play this game for a couple hours and then have to start back over tomorrow when I sit down again. I want to be able to sit down and pick up from where I left off. All those things are possible now with the technology that they've got in the new PlayStation Network and the PlayStation 4. And I'd like to just say, too, that all the people that complain, and I bitched about it, too, at first, all the people that complained about paying for PlayStation Network because it had always been free before. Why should we have to pay for something that we get for free? Well, you're not paying for something that you got for free before, because what the old PlayStation Network was is completely subpar compared to the new PlayStation Network. The shit works good now. It doesn't freeze up. It doesn't take a half an hour to load in the PlayStation Store. It doesn't, all those things are gone. Now there's voice chat, there's group chats, there's the ability to share your video game with a friend on a different screen. If I'm having trouble beating a level, I can call Pirate and say, hey, can you beat this level? I can actually give him control of my video game.
Has that went live yet? Because I heard that it's still not like.
I think so. I thought they did, but
because that was a big selling feature of the PS4 when they announced it, but I don't think anybody is going to get it to work.
But yeah, I know it's. I mean, if it's not live, I know that I'm sure that they're working on it because, like you said, it was a big marketing point. But
yeah,
either way, I think that this is a really nice step forward for the video gaming community. I don't know if Xbox, the Xbox One, has anything comparable to this. I'm not
if they don't, they will.
If they don't yet,
when one has one, it's soon to follow.
Yeah, the Xbox One has really done very poorly in this head-to-head battle with the PlayStation 4. It's pretty much lost at this point. I mean, it's like 4-1. It's not even close.
I don't know. I mean, I read different different articles, and it's almost like politics. You know what I mean? Depending on where you go and where you get your source material from is what the outcome. You know what I mean? It's like they're swayed one way or another. It's like, I don't know. It's I honestly can't find a direct answer of like who's actually doing better.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing that I heard was from earlier this year that PS4 doubled Xbox One's sales figures for the first quarter of this year, which is fucking massive.
Yeah.
Especially since each unit sold for an Xbox One is more sales dollars than one unit sold of PlayStation because they're more expensive.
Well, they have not anymore.
Oh, did they lower the price now?
They've lowered prices and then expanded memory. So, like, they have a 1 terabyte system now for the same price that a 500 is.
Oh, okay.
And then they lowered the 500 down, I think, to like, I mean, it's still in the $300 range.
Yeah, I mean, they're not cheap. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. But now PlayStation came out, or I don't think it was PlayStation, it might be a third-party entity, came out with an external hard drive enclosure that you can set on top of it. So you can theoretically have you could put a
like a 2 or 3 terabyte hard drive.
I think up to 2 terabyte external hard drive into it, and then bank your memory from it. So
dang, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, and it's only like $30, and you can get a 2 terabyte drive for like $150.
Not that much at all anymore. Dang. All right, well, let's talk about some news real quick before we let's talk about some actual comic related stuff, I guess. Star Trek Beyond, the third installment of the Star Trek movies, they actually pushed it back for a couple weeks, the release in 2016. They said the reason that they were pushing it back was not because of any kind of problems with production or post editing or anything like that, but they want to secure more IMAX screens for the release, which means that I think this movie is going to be very pushing the graphics envelope. I think they're really, really going to reach out there and try and do something incredible graphically.
Now, what month are they targeting?
July.
Oh, okay.
June or July. It's going to be a summer movie.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going for the big blockbuster summer smash hit. I mean, I love the Star Trek movies. I really do.
I thought the remakes were really good.
Yeah, it's a hard market right now with well as the comic book movies are doing, and as many of them as there are.
Yeah, they're I was impressed with the first two. And you know what? I've never been like I've watched the shows growing up. I've never sat and watched them all through. If they were on, I'd watch them. You know what I mean? I was never that huge of a Star Trek fan.
I watched I watched the Next Generation on TV pretty regularly.
Yeah.
not, I wasn't like a super fan or anything like that. I didn't have to watch it every day, but it was oftentimes on in like the afternoons after school and stuff. So it was like that, or like some really shitty sitcoms, or the occasional good cartoon that might be on. So oftentimes the Next Generation was just kind of the best of what was available, and I really enjoy it. And I've gone back on Netflix and watched a handful of episodes, and it's still pretty enjoyable. It's still, you know, it's watchable.
Yeah, no, I've had buddies like since they put them all up on Netflix, you know, that they've sat and watched. Literally, that's all they did. They just watched through every Star Trek one, and I'm just like, wow, that's
a lot. That's a lot of time.
It is.
Because
it is.
God, those
I mean, they even watched like fucking the USS Enterprise, the one that fucking sucked.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Those are true Star Trek fans, though.
I mean, but it's shocking because I'd never known them to be Star Trek fans. They were just like, oh, they're on there, I'm gonna watch them all, and they did it.
Now we mentioned that like this is going to be really hard for Star Trek to be that huge summer movie. Do you think that the way that things are going now in the film industry, that we're getting away from the huge summer blockbuster because of how frequently and at different times of the year we're having these big, massive comic book movie titles that are coming out, not necessarily just in the summertime now? You know, we're looking at
fuck, Batman v Superman's in March, ain't it?
When's Star Wars coming out?
Star Wars is December, but that's always like the end of December is a big month.
But typically in history, you know, in the past rather, they would have released that in a summer month.
No,
I think tier movies are typically the ones that come out in the winter time, because you don't have to battle the elements.
No, because the Lord of the Rings, those all came out in December. Those were all out on the Christmas break. The Star Wars, I think, were all Christmas break.
Star Wars was definitely, those came out in the summer.
No, those came out in the fall.
Did they?
They were fall winter movies.
Well,
I'm pretty almost positive.
Well, fuck me. All right. Another bit of news. I like this bit of news. Bill Finger is going to be receiving credit for helping create Batman.
Bill Finger, who's that?
Yeah, who's that?
Who's that guy?
On Gotham, the TV show, as well as in the Batman v Superman movie. He will be credited in both of those.
Well, didn't that whole like lawsuit thing go through in his favor? And that's why it's all of a sudden.
So yeah. If you're, I guess it's possible that you're listening to this as a comic book fan and you may not know who Bill Finger is. Bill Finger is the person that actually created Batman. Everything is credited to Bob Kane, but the way that it really went down was that Bob Kane came up with an idea for a person that a character, and you can see drawings of the original Bob Kane Batman ideas, and they look nothing even remotely close to. It looks more like Superman than it does Batman as we know it.
He did have a cape in the shape of wings.
Yes, it did. So Bill Finger added to it, gave a bunch of ideas, created the Batmobile, created the Batcave,
created Gotham,
gave him the idea of Robin, I believe. I mean, so many things that are part of the Batman, major things that are part of the Batman mythos.
Commissioner Gordon.
Commissioner Gordon was another one of his. I mean, it's just the list goes on and on and on. And essentially what happened was he would take these things to Bob Kane. Bob Kane would then take them to, I can't remember the guy's name, his boss, essentially, and present them as his ideas. And in the long run, Bob Kane got credit for all the work. Well, Bill Finger was just trying to, come up in the business and didn't really, how do you challenge your boss for credit of an idea? Especially back then. And it just wasn't there. And all things have come to light now. And finally, Bill Finger is getting some credit. It's really sad that it's after he passed away. I think he died back in like 1974 1974, I believe. Back in the 70s, he passed away. It's sad that he wasn't alive to see himself getting credit for this. I mean, this is a major part of comic book history that he was at the focal point of, and just for so long, he and his family now have had to sit back and watch this thing that he created. He was the idea behind it all, just grow into a multi-billion-dollar, brand, if you will, if that's what you want to call Batman. With the Nolan movies and the Superman v Batman, or Batman v Superman now, and the comic books and the toys and it's incredible. The video games. And
I mean, I have a similar experience. I dated a chick whose grandfather, he came up with the air cushion toilet seat. And the air cushion toilet seat,
there are hemorrhoid-ridden people everywhere thanking him.
His buddy took the credit for it, I guess, or something. Somebody he knew took the credit for it. So now, like, every time you take a deuce on an air ride, the fruitions of his labor,
that
gone.
Sucks.
So
that sucks. The last bit of news that I've got that I want to talk about, and this is kind of along the same lines. G.I. Joe creator. Now, I want to get your opinion on this situation. G.I. Joe creator Stan Weston. He's going to court and trying to reclaim the ownership rights to the G.I. Joe brand from Hasbro.
Wow.
He sold it to Hasbro in 1963 for $100,000 flat. And they've had it ever since.
Okay.
And now he's going to court trying to reclaim this because in the 70s, there was a change to ownership rights and copyright laws. And there have been instances of people going back and reclaiming rights for things that they lost or sold off. Mainly music, more so than anything else.
Right.
But I don't think he stands a fucking chance.
I don't think so either, man. You see dollar signs like that and you take them, that's courts like, you knew it was worth money because you sold it.
I think he will get money. I think that Hasbro will probably just pay him some money to go away.
But if he's not going for money, if he's going strictly for
yeah, I think that what's going to happen is they're going to pay him to fuck off, essentially,
right.
Because G.I. Joe became what it is now
based off the toys.
Yeah, after Hasbro bought it.
Yeah.
They did the toys. The toys made the cartoon huge. The cartoon made the toys bigger. Now they've got the movies. It's the staple of G.I. Joe is the toy, not the cartoon.
Right.
That's when you think of G.I. Joe, you don't think of the movie, you don't think of the cartoon, you think of the toys.
Right. Which initially started as a doll. When
right.
the cartoons came in, that's when it became
action figures. Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's like the guy he has to prove that he would have been able to market it and expand on it the way he could have, that money is well deserved in his return.
And that's what I think
I don't think an individual person can be like, "Oh, this was my idea. I would have made all this money."
After I sold it.
Me and you would have no idea what G.I. Joe is if that guy still would have had rights to it.
Exactly. And I think that ultimately what it's going to come down to is if he takes it to court, Hasbro will have to address it in court. They have to, legally. So and they've got a team of lawyers.
Chomping at the bit,
which are expensive, to keep on retainer through a long drawn out, legal proceeding. So I think that what's going to happen is they're just going to offer him a settlement of X amount of money, whatever it would probably cost them, or less than what it would cost them to pay all these lawyers to go through the entire legal process of this thing and try and buy him off to just say, here's enough money that you don't need any more money. Go away. Go.
Yeah.
Shoot. Because the G.I. Joe brand is God, can you imagine how much that's worth to this day and age? I mean,
it honestly, I don't know. I mean, because is the cartoon even still around? Like, I don't think.
Yeah, there's G.I. Joe cartoons. They're different. They're different. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's
because I don't see the toys anymore. I don't see. I mean, I see the throwback toys all the time that they do, but it's like I don't know. I mean, with the movie and stuff like that now that they had, I don't know.
I would still say that the brand itself is worth the ownership rights to that has got to be worth. It's got to be over $50 million.
Oh, I'm sure of that. Just because, I mean, even if somebody wanted to make another G.I. Joe movie, that
video
they got
games, movies. There's cartoons, there's comics, there's all of the oh my gosh, so many different action figures. There's
I just can't think of maybe it's because what I think of its heyday is when I was
yeah, well, when you and I think of G.I. Joe,
10 years old,
we think of literally like
growing up
little,
in the 80s.
like 3.5-inch action figures that came with the cardboard backer and the clear plastic front, with the card on the back that had their like stats and shit. And
I mean,
those stats all corresponded to the TV show that was on in like the late 80s, early 90s.
It was
mid 80s, I guess.
Mid 80s, yeah. But I mean, I have original G.I. Joe dolls. Like
the old ones.
Yeah, I still have a couple of those. I'll have to dig those out and bring them on the show.
Those are almost like Migos, aren't they?
No, they're like this tall. I mean,
that's how the Migos.
I thought the Migos were like the whole like. They weren't hard dolls. These are more like male Barbie dolls.
Oh, okay. No, the Migos were cloth.
Yeah, they were like you could like move them and stuff like that.
They were like
filler.
Cloth dolls almost.
These you can move them, but literally they were like Barbie dolls for guys. Like I have one. It's like an old Korean War engineer, and I have another one that's an old. I think it's just a regular infantry guy. Like a lot of them were World War II, Korean War era.
That's the other thing too is like.
But you could change all their clothes.
The characters didn't come about till after Hasbro bought it too.
Right, the cartoons, like Beachhead and Shipwreck,
and that's what you think about when you really think about G.I. Joe. You think about the individual character, Snake Eyes, Duke, whoever your favorite might have been. But
which I always thought was funny that when it first started, it was a grunt was just a regular infantryman, but then they actually changed to have Grunt as his own character.
Yeah.
Later on in the show, which that tripped me out too.
Like, I think they just did that so that you could identify with characters, not
right. No, I agree why they did it, but it was funny.
Yeah.
Because those were like the regular army guys,
right.
And then you had the G.I. Joes was like the elite of them, and then they made the regular army guy a regular army G.I. Joe. Like it was, I don't know. I used to love that show.
Oh, I did too, and it was on Netflix recently. I don't know if it still is or not.
I have them all.
Oh,
I own them all. Or at least all the ones that were released, like the first, like the volumes of them, whatever they are. Before we jump off though, we should touch base on that Jason Todd Joker theory.
Oh yeah, I forgot you wanted to talk about that. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so there's a theory out right now that the Joker that we're seeing is actually Jason Todd, and the reason there's a couple things that make this
now when you say the Joker that we're seeing, are you
with Jared Leto?
You think Jared Leto is playing Jason Todd?
Yeah, I think Jason Todd is the Joker.
Okay.
Yes, because one piece of evidence, and there's a video I stumbled upon. It's on our Facebook page, so if you haven't seen it, go look at that. It's basically one of the evidences that the people are saying is the scars. If you look at the scene where he's like got his hands up on his like head, it says damaged. He's got 2 scars on his shoulders. Okay. if you go and look at the suit, the Robin suit in Batman v Superman trailer, you see the same scars, the same tears in the like there's like 2 bullet holes in the shoulder, and he's got 2 scars on his shoulders. There's also some scar damage on the abdomen area, but he doesn't have any scar damage. But that could be insinuated because of body armor, because one looks like a bullet is still stuck in the suit. So he could have had to do with the armor he was wearing. Another piece of evidence that is shown is that in the scene in Batman v Superman where he opens up the newspaper clipping, and it has like the Joker writing, and it says, "You let your family die." The Joker doesn't know who Bruce Wayne is. So why is the Joker supposedly, if that is the Joker, why is it sending him a letter as Bruce Wayne? Could not be. There might be other things to that, but it's just something to think about.
I like it. I like it.
Another thing is that in the picture of Jared Leto as the Joker, he has a J tattooed on his face. In the Arkham Knights video game, when it shows Jason Todd as the Arkham Knight, he has a J on his cheek, scarred in. So,
damn.
Kind of like saying a lot of this is going on. Another thing that was, the whole damage thing they're saying is because Jason Todd, was damaged growing up being this kid as the sidekick to Batman.
That's all speculation.
Right. There's a lot of things that is just kind of drawing straws, but there's a few things that were in there that I was like, wow, that's a pretty interesting correlation between the two.
The suit and the scars matching up to me is that's the big one. That's pretty interesting.
And there's also, if you look at one of his tattoos that he's got, there's like it looks like a bird wing. Like all you can see is part of it. You can't really tell what it is, but they're saying that it's a robin wing tattooed on him because you can't see the rest of the tattoo, but you just see one part of it. But it looks like a wing, a bird wing. There was
how crazy would that be?
Well, parts of me likes it, and another part of me is like, God, that's so fucked up, because why would we be seeing, other individuals have played the Joker before, not in canon. Dick Grayson was the Joker at one point. I think Barbara Gordon even got infected by the Joker.
There's definitely a bird on his arm.
Did you see it? Yeah.
You can see the head of the bird.
Oh, can you? I didn't know if you could see the head. Yeah. I just remember seeing the wing. But
wow. That's fucking crazy.
And this whole thing started on Reddit. Like there's this huge thread write-up of like all these speculations and what's
go check out I'm interested to see what people have to think. Go check out the video on our Facebook page and let us know what your thoughts of it are. Because there's already a pretty good little discussion going. There's a handful of comments on there. Throw some comments on it and let us know what you think about it. And we'll maybe next week we'll round back and talk with the other guys and see what they think regarding this.
Brian's already going to be like, it's poop. Poop theory.
Yeah,
poop theory.
It's all poop. All right. Well, that's it for this week. I'm Fox2, and we got the motherfucking pirate.
That's right, motherfuckers. We out.